Hello and welcome to Man Plays Game. Joe Richardson made a sequel to his game The Four Last Things called Procession to Calvary, and I played it. First, I want to talk about The Four Last Things. It is a charming game that perfectly encapsulates Terry Gilliam's animation style and Monty Python's humor. The cutout animation and fused classical paintings make up the visuals of the game. Using the metaphors, religious imagery, and day-to-day life found in these paintings, Richardson used them to create a surreal reimagining of religious history. Also a satire of religion, Four Last Things wonderfully pokes fun at the strange rules and hypocrisies found in the Holy Church. The story is that the main character wants absolution for the 7 deadly sins he committed throughout his life, but due to a jurisdiction issue, he's required to commit all the sins over again in order to be forgiven. Each new scene and person you meet feels like a comedy sketch that you get to interact with. Your options are simple, but the outcomes change depending on who or what you're interacting with. The music is a collection of Renaissance and religious pieces that will please any classical music fan. And for those that aren't fans, the cerebral music is still a perfect accompaniment to the puzzles and witty satire. The game is a short couple of hours, but uses the time to its fullest. The Four Last Things is a game I completely recommend. Now, Procession to Calvary, like its predecessor, is a point-and-click adventure with a unique visual style and satirical story. The charming goal of the first game was replaced with something a bit less whimsical. After fighting valiantly in a holy war, the main character is set on one final mission: to kill the newly dethroned king. In your mission, you find that everyone has problems, and to get ahead, you will have to solve them all, leading to skunks, punches, and spanking. The humor is a little more absurdist and aware, but not to the point of spoiling itself. In fact, the satire got a lot more scathing, which I did appreciate. There is still a lot of silliness mixed in, and some pretty decent puzzles. Finding the right answer felt rewarding, except for one part of the game, which, without spoilers, I will say made me uncomfortable. Besides that one specific issue, I found the game a wonderful companion to The Four Last Things, and a good standalone game as well. As a point-and-click adventure, you wouldn't expect any groundbreaking changes that redefine the genre, and you would be correct. This is a very straightforward point-and-click adventure, and the challenge and story progression, like the first game, comes through a series of puzzles. It's so satisfying when a new item is presented and all the threads that you have been following start coming together. This feeling of reward motivated me to continue from one puzzle to the next. The dialogue also encouraged exploration and interaction. The backbone of this tale is its humor. Whether it's visual or written, each joke or scenario kept me pushing forward to see how much more ridiculous this game can get. The characters have personality, and some even have multiple appearances. There is some heavy religious satire in this game, and while some of the jokes are obvious, you can see that Mr. Richardson has strong and educated opinions on the church and the nature of religion's effect on leadership. Just like Monty Python, the satire is at once scathing, while also being ridiculous. My playthrough was peppered with scoffs and chuckles, discovering what horrible whimsy inspired this fictional town. From someone selling merch at the hill where Jesus was crucified, to a librarian made of books, you can get a real idea for Richardson's sense of humor. As for the looks, besides replicating the first game's visuals, there were also some improvements, notably the addition of depth to each scene by using more landscapes, and also more sophisticated detail in the animations. There are really well animated parts of this game, and there is also some comically bad animation, but it all felt contained within the same style, and I very much appreciated the amount of effort it took to merge and blend all of these different paintings into one cohesive image. That is the effort that made the whole world feel lived in and believable. It was also impressive to go to the art gallery and see all the paintings that were used to make the scenes. It was almost like a mini-game trying to recognize which parts made it into the game. I was hoping that there'd be a place to listen to the soundtrack, but alas, it does not exist. The amount of time I put into these games and the amount of entertainment I got felt well worth the price. I also appreciate a game whose mission was to make you laugh and succeed without doing anything cheap. Even the fart joke in the game was thoughtful enough to get a laugh. With a style I haven't seen in a game before, draped over one of the most solid types of gameplay with a funny and thoughtful script, I have to give Procession to Calvary a 4 out of 5. Meaning buy it if you don't get offended by religious satire, and I would go farther and say buy both and play them in order. It made a difference for me at least. This is a slightly older game, so did you already play it? Do you disagree with my score? Tell me off in the comments. Thanks for watching. Take care.